Welcome everyone to Hollow Earth Discovered. And we're just waiting for a couple of seconds here for beloved Q to come on board on our BBS radio show. We are so fortunate to have BBS radio as our host, especially Don, who has coordinated all of this so that it comes across so clearly. Especially when you want to go and listen to the replays, it just works so beautifully. They do a magnificent job with their radio station, which is BBS Radio. So, before he comes, I do want to say right now, let me go ahead and start off by saying today is an amazing September the 24th, 2022. And, and guess what? Here is beloved Q.
Good day to you. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me in to your time and space and day. My great love to you. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, Q. Thank you for being here for all of us. I do have a co-host also with us today, and that is Dr. Tom Zorich. Many of the people already know of him. He's also had an opportunity as well to be able to speak with you at one of your one-to-one sessions. So, Dr. Tom, hello, and say hello.
Hello there. Hello there. Good afternoon.
Indeed. Okay.
Me too.
And Zoraya's here also. So we're ready to roll here. Okay. And Q, did you want to start our call?
What do you mean by that? Haven't we already started?
It's your call.
It's a little song and dance, maybe?
A song and dance? Oh, thank you so much. I'm so fortunate to get to do this. And should be fitting for the messaging today. And thank you, the great artist that created this song for us. Just a castaway on an island lost at sea. Another lonely day with no one here but me. More loneliness than any man could bear. Rescue me before I fall into despair. I'll send an SOS to the world in a message in a bottle. A year has passed since I wrote my note, but I would have known this right from the start. Only hope can keep us together. Love can mend your life, but love can break your heart. So I will send an SOS to the world. A message in a bottle. Oh, a message in a bottle. I walked out this morning. Can't believe what I saw. 100 billion bottles washed up on the shore. Seems I'm not alone at being alone. 100 billion castaways looking for a home. I'll send an SOS to the world in a message in the bottle. I'll send an SOS. I'll send an SOS. Message in a bottle. Yeah. Message in a bottle. Sending out an SOS. Sending out an SOS. And that is from the Police, Mr. Sting. I hope that helps.
Oh, yes. Oh, how absolutely perfect for today's call. And so before we get started, Q, I just wanted to give a little bit of an introduction also for Dr. Tom, since he's also going to be co-hosting. And go ahead and fill in any blanks also, Dr. Tom, if you will. So Dr. Tom has been a part of our Zora of Hollow Earth calls for a long time now, in terms of who he is and what he does. What I know about him is that he loves great health. He loves to exercise. He's all about being out in nature. He also is a doctor of chiropractic as well as a naturopath, and very also into functional medicine. So, Dr. Tom, why don't you fill in a little bit more about yourself, if you will?
Great. Well, that's a great intro. Thank you. Real quick, a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in the mountains of the Sierras. And my backyard was the mountains. My father had a ski school up in the Sierras, and so I started ski racing basically before I could walk almost, and
Nice.
that led me on to that little career for up to age 8 to about 23, and then I had some accidents traveling 60 to 100 miles an hour crash, and it ended up to where I couldn't walk, and I ended up at Stanford. The medical profession couldn't help me, and I sought after chiropractors and naturopaths, and went to them. And a year later, I was back ski racing again, and I got to know them. I woke up one morning about 3 a.m, completely covered with sweat, and had this divine calling that you need to go heal. I've always been interested in healing. At 13, I was studying life extension, Dirk and Pearson's work. And I've always been interested, never taken prescriptions at all. And now and then that followed with the whistleblowing that changed me. I practiced for about over 25 years plus. And then I was involved with the whistleblowing on the pharmaceutical companies. And that changed my direction in life. It was a big whipping. And then I decided that I had things come to me through Source. And now I'm off another adventure of creating these centers nothing has been developed like this on the planet, where we can go and get charged up, and plugging the body back into the cosmic light socket, and helping people raise their vibration through diet and how they think, and detoxify. And that's about it. But that's my story, and I'm holding to it.
That's a whole lot. Thank you so much for who you are and what you're doing to assist everyone that you are in contact with, and many more down the road. So, Q, I think we're ready to roll in terms of some Q&A. There's been quite a few people already that have sent some questions for me to ask you. So to start with, we have a caller from, and this is a question from 561 ending in 3550. And the question is, Q, please elaborate on the multiverse. You say we are traveling into the multiverse and that we can almost see it. What does that mean? Does that mean that the Earth is evolving into a multidimensional planet?
That sounds like an easy one.
Yeah. Sure.
That's easy. All right. So fun. Thank you so much, Jane. So we're so capable, we're so nimble, and we're so expansive, and the English language doesn't allow to explain ascension. There's no way to explain ascension in the English language. With great care and great love, I share this information, and it's just information. You can accept it or get rid of it. But you have the ability to bring the light to wherever you are. And so you're not going anywhere per se. You are the light. And so if I was to explain what God is, it's an endless story of expansion. And so what if you went somewhere and could bring more of you here? So we like to use the linear terms of dimensions and frequencies, but how could you have a linear definition for unlimitedness? And that's my answer.
I get it. That's beautiful. That is perfect. So essentially, we don't have to go anywhere when we're talking about the multiverse, because we are the multiverse. And it's just a matter of awakening to who we really are. as the creators of all that is. And since we're individuations of source, we're all part of that. We have just decided that we wanted to become a part of this experiment of which we are at. But yes, thank you so much for that. I hope I tried to explain that a little bit more. So
very tricky to explain that I might want to go back to I might want to go back to my home planet. I might want to go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But isn't it your choice?
That's right. Always your choice. Yep. And then I think the other thing too, Q, is when they're talking about going somewhere, and that we're going into the next frequencies, that all can be done right here, right now. As we say, we are bringing the heaven upon the earth, and it's all about frequencies, right?
Really good. You should get a radio show and tell everyone. And then maybe a message in the bottle.
And that was so beautiful. You sang it so beautifully. And that was so perfect. Yes, everyone feels so like please send me some information. Here's an SOS. And then, of course, and how does that reflect for you? How do you take that to, in terms of yourself? Because we're the ones that are trying to send out the SOSs, right?
Yes. Well, everybody's been waiting for this. I guess it's my turn, and I thank you all for it.
Yeah.
This is a message from the emergency God casting system. Again, I'm not kidding. This is a message from the emergency God casting system. You're all being duped, using your heads instead of your hearts to make decisions. You are high frequency beings in a vessel that has been hijacked. I love you. I love you. I love you. Use your heart for all your formal decision-making processes. Be loved. That's it.
Thank you. Dr. Tom, did you want to say anything in regards to that? In regards to the topic that we're talking about?
I think that show's done. I think we're all good, Q. That was perfect. Using your head and not your heart. So I think that says it right there. So it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
I just want to end up with thank you, Q, the SOS. We got it. We're in the storm. We're waiting for it. we're in it, moving along. And thank you for the call. Mm-hmm. So our next question that I have also is, and again, I don't know if this is redundant or not. So why is it that this is from the same caller and asks, why is it that this version of humans is growing out of, we are growing out of our genetic hindrances since 2012 and onward? I don't know about that myself. Is this related to reaching, again, going back to the initial question that he had, are we going to a particular location in our journey? But you've already answered that, because he was thinking we're going back to the galactic equator. Did you want to say something about that?
Sure, that's a fun one. The doctor probably could relate to it too. So if you look at the events in your life, notice if you look at a good span of time, notice how things changed right in 2010, 11, 12. Some big things happened to a lot of people. And so if you want to look for the equator of the universe, I would go look at your belly button. So that's my answer.
Yes, exactly. You feel the same, right, Dr. Tom?
Absolutely. 2010. He said 2010. Boy, did a lot of crapola hit my range. So that was a perfect timing, Q.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. All right. Okay. Our next question is from 313 ending in 8160 from Sandra from Michigan. And she says, Ron Amatron had stated on November the 9th, 2017, that 1,500 people on the entire planet made it through the last ascension process. And that this time it's our very last ascension. Is that correct?
Well, we're changing that, but those numbers, you don't want to take too much out of context from myself or Ron, because a lot of it gets, as the years go by, they do a lot of manipulation of our broadcasting. So take great care of it, and just really focus on yourself is all you really need to do. There's no scare here. There's no worry. Your inspiration center is the key to going to higher frequency. That's it. It's super easy. All your knowledge comes from your heart center. Everything you'll ever be comes right from the source, the light. And so if you just focus on using your inspiration, and even I get tired of talking about it, your excitement, your passion, and then observe it through the brain, the activity of the excitement. That's the normal way a light being works within a mammalin, a particular type of human. Most of the time, we don't have such a heavy memory system. We definitely don't have epigenetic recording system that hinders our natural inspirational decision-making process. So don't get too caught up on the numbers. Yes, this is a very dense type of human, very dense compared to 2,000 years ago. We were very light back then. And many, many times here, we've been much lighter than this. But please do not get hung up on it because we're so powerful. We grow outside the hindrances of DNA. I hope that helps.
Yes. Thank you for that, Q. Thank you. Another question is, she wants to know if the lightship clearings, if she should continue with the lightship clearings, and wants to know if they are that powerful. Are they so powerful to be able to remove and clear anything from lower densities?
Yeah, great question. It's awesome. I'm just thrilled that people are exploring themselves that way. And that's really what the webpage is made for, is just a starting point to work with your spirit verbally and make your own modalities, because you are that strong. You're no different than me. I just don't have the restrictions of DNA. That's the only thing different between you all and me, potentially. So if you're doing a lot of work on the Creation Lightship, the webpage is the library there. You got to ask yourself, why do I need to do so much work? And you're ultimately going to find one primary reason: that you're doubting yourself, or you're living in the past, or fear, or unsure, or scared, or attacks on me, et cetera, et cetera. Well, those all come from the head, because passion, joy, excitement comes from the heart. Hope that helps.
Yes. Thank you for that, Q. All right. Another question is coming from 780, ending in 4615. So the reason why I'm mentioning the phone numbers is because people did not, when they sent out the text for their questions, they did not leave their names. So the question here is, why are the Anons left so confused? So obviously this person feels that they're confused because why are they led to believe that Trump is Q, or that Q is like the military unit in addition to you, source?
Great question. I love it. So if you do follow forthepeople.space, what we're able to do is give you the individuals who created that. Just know great care is taking place there. Great care is taking place there. And you're going to get more comfortable with the idea that when you have a gateway on a planet in lower density, you need higher frequency beings to bounce back consciousness to and from source. And so the gateway that's being used is what you're representing as, I believe, Q posts. Okay, well, that's just a sorting of your consciousness. So as you can see on the computer system that you're reading, no one can go off the board and represent themselves as Q. And here's why. Because it's everyone's consciousness, although someone is sorting the information. Now, in order to get that gateway to work, you need light beings here, only temporarily as you all grow your light. So that's the short version. And certainly you have military and some very special individuals who may or may not be in the military are helping sort the information in a way in which you can digest it, i.e., to make the transition specialists, that would be myself, and others that you may have mentioned their name, help you realize that you're in a universe that you're creating right now. Every inch in front of you was created by you. Hope that helps.
Thank you very much for that, Q. Hey, Dr. Tom, do you have a question that you would like to pose to Q?
Yeah, I would like to I have one comment, if you could comment on this, and then two questions, but we can do those later. But wondering, I just had received information about the lost Gospel of Thomas was actually believed to be the actual words of Jesus on teaching on how to use the heart, mind, and emotions and thoughts. And of course, that would imprint on the DNA. And the ancients knew it, the indigenous knew it. What happened to all this knowledge was that it was stripped. And what my question is with this is all true? That there was a time when this field and language of emotion was part of our tradition. And then all this was in our texts until the 4th century, around the 25th AD. And the Emperor Emperor Constantine, with the Christian Bibles, had to make a decision, and the 45 of these books were taken away, and that we lost this information, and now we're rediscovering it, like from the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Confix texts, and that's how we're receiving about who we are and where we came from. Is there any validity to that, Q?
There's tremendous amount of validity to that statement. Yet I would suggest you start 100 years BC. And the reason a lot of literature was starting to be created before the last ascension cycle is because of the knowledge that there's going to be a great attempt to hijack us as we shoulder the ascension cycle. So as the shouldering occurred and you had a good network of communications, it was very, very simple, much simpler than the books you're referencing, but certainly inherited a lot of the teachings. And the teachings were really just a roadmap of how to find yourself in as simple term as possible. And so I'm good with almost everything you said there, except the delineation in time is a little upset for me, because as we shouldered the last ascension cycle, a lot of those teachings got hijacked. So as man took over more of the literacy system, we'll call it, the words started changing and didn't have the coding and or depth to them. So yes, you're correct.
Perfect. Okay. Then my other question is Q is point blank here. How do we get our memories back?
Well, that's easy. Stop thinking. And I'm not kidding. And
right.
Okay. and it's beautiful how, hopefully you can hear me, how the opening song is really my purpose here is the more you use your heart for your decision-making process, your light body, your Merkaba, whatever word you like there, the more you will get your memories back in your natural, let's say, weightlifting course. So the more you use it, the more you get it. And it's just as simple as that. And that's why the teachings for me will always be the same and they will never change. And that is the book you wrote has one page, and that is Go Within. I hope that helps.
Perfect. So basically, not thinking would be staying in your highest joy, your highest passion, excitement, and kind of like what you had said before, you're on the playground at 5 and everything existed to running to the swing set. That was it. You weren't thinking, you were just enjoy. And my question to do that, how do we stay in that that place where, we're living here, we have families, we have work, we have all these things. How do you continue to stay in that non-thinking, blissful period so we can move into a higher level?
Yeah, great job. I just love examining everything like this. It just gives me so much joy because this is a tricky type of human, and I would prefer that everybody finds their own way for sure. But I will offer this: sustaining living in an inspired life. For me, has a lot to do with the erasing of unnecessary urgencies. I have to do something. Time is one of the tools the aliens have used to create a false sense of urgency, as an example. There was no such thing as time per se 2,000 years ago. We didn't have clocks. Find me a clockmaker that has a 500-year-old clock. Find one that has a 1,000-year-old clock. Now, I know that tomorrow some guy's going to call me and say, I got a 500-year-old clock. But to be somewhat flip, there's no such thing as time, and there's no such thing as space. So why do we create so much urgency around our jobs? What if we just loved doing what we're doing? I love going to help people heal. And by the way, I'm late. Sorry. Anyway, that's my best joke today, and I hope that helps because we're really creating false sense of urgencies. Would be my generalization for the modern Western world. Got to pay that bill. Everybody believes they have an ownership of something. Everyone has a title apparently, and everybody has this means of exchange that includes green pieces of paper with pyramids on it. So there's 3 items, if you removed them from your life, might help you with your inspiration. Hope that helps.
Perfect. Right. And one of my other questions, Q, and thank you for that one. That was excellent. We hear out there, everywhere, the 3rd dimension, the 4th dimension, the 5th dimension, the 20th dimension, oh yeah, we're moving it. Oh yeah, I'm in the 5th dimension. Can you explain a little bit more about maybe not dimensions, but different levels and really truly what they are and how we move along those? Because a lot of people that are awakening that I'm coming in contact, what is the 5th dimension and how do I get there? And trying to describe it, is kind of sometimes a little challenging because you have everyone putting their own definition on those different levels.
Yeah, and there's part of some of the numerology games that are here. As if God is unlimited, that means you're unlimited too. So you're source, and so a little bit of trickery there in the woo-woo community, of course. What if we could explain density as a tuner on a stereo? I would like to be at 237 hertz today. I want to be at 1,000 hertz. I want to be at. What if I now want to be at a frequency at megahertz? Maybe I want to be AC. Maybe I want to be DC. There's no limitation to dimensions, none whatsoever. It's really your choice. So I wouldn't get too hung up on a linear definition. And right now, you are deciding to live at a very high frequency, which you might describe as the 5th dimension right now, because you were really, really excited to do this radio show today with me. So you're already there, is my statement. Now it's your choice to sustain it. I can't wait to, and fill in the gaps, go talk to a guy without a name on Jane and Billy's show. Can't wait to do that. Man. That if that's not fifth dimension, I don't know what is.
Exactly. Very, very nice. Yeah. Like just that feeling of running to the swing, the swing set. So thank you.
Great questions, Dr. Tom. Thank you for that. I would like to insert a question. So, and this is, of course, a different topic, but I think this is also really relevant for all of us. You know, in this reality that we have all created, on this particular plane of existence, we have relationships. So let's just take a look at the relationship of marriage. You know, so people get married and it's a monogamous deal. And other people, though, that are even on this same plane feel like, hey, I could have, 10 wives or whatever, depending sometimes on religions or cultures, etc. So my question, Q, is how is our relationship situations here different from elsewhere? Like on different planets, or even in terms of your understanding of ideal relationships versus what we presently have. So just about relationships. Could you kind of, expound on that subject?
Okay, let me get this straight. There's a guy somewhere who wants 10 wives. Is that where we're starting?
Yeah, there probably is.
This is really a question for Zoraia for sure, but all right. It's easier to explain what it's like to have more of our abilities, and if you want to call it higher dimensional relationships, that's fine with me, or higher frequency. When you have all your abilities back, so to speak, very, very broad statement for me. My apologies, and limited at the same time. Let's just. What if you could be in singularity, and the person next to you knew what you were going to think before you thought it? What would that be like? What if there was no secrets in your communities? Not one single secret. All your knowledge was in you. Any knowledge you wanted. The only thing missing was the expression of individuality in the experience and excitement you wanted to go enjoy. Now try and ask me the same question. And it doesn't even apply, does it? Jane, You're playing a game again. A game called love. Okay. Now take it into degrees. Okay, so now we're going to go to a little different frequency. We're gonna go be dinosaurs. Let's go be an elephant. Let's go be a giraffe, and let's go get married. Whatever it is. What if you only had half the knowledge you had when you were an elephant and you got married? Okay, what's that look like? Okay, not a very good example, you say, but it's actually really perfect because you see how the elephants live in a herd. Mm-hmm. And notice the Native Americans used to live in tribes and migrate, nomads certainly. And what if one day your wife, Lulu, was, she's a little tuckered out with you, but you had your eye on Greta across the tent system. That was really acceptable because there was no contracts on humans. Zoraia has done a good job educating me recently on some of the legacy initiations of marriage. It was more accepted at higher frequencies, what I'm doing my best to explain, because you lived or you do live now at thousands of years. So why would you not just have another experience? And so I'm never going to judge anyone else's experience. And I'm certainly not endorsing marrying an entire village. But how could any of us judge an expression of ourselves? And so I'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very good, Q.
So,
Thank you very
Jane,
much for that.
Jane, I had
Yes.
a follow with that for Q.
Sure.
So
Okay.
Q, that would be similar, when you see a flock of blackbirds, maybe thousands of them, and they're all turning and at the same time. Same thing with the fish, the little tiny fish that the whales are eating, and they circle them. And all of a sudden, you have hundreds of thousands of these fish all linked up to each other. So would that be the same frequency as for humans to get to?
Better said than myself. I'm constantly making the mistake of you not explaining my knowledge that I have more efficiently. Thank you so much. Yeah. So how do the birds know which way to fly when they're not talking? How does the deer, mama deer and the baby deer, know which way to go when they don't talk? How come the fish, all 10,000 of them, know which direction to go when the shark's chasing? That's exactly what I'm doing my best to explain. When you have more consciousness, you have more capability, you have more knowledge. And that's right. Your dog is a lot smarter than you. That's what I say.
Exactly. Yes. Or when your mother catches you stealing cookies out of the cookie jar and she already knew it. So that was a communication, not verbal. Right.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Tom. Thank you, Q.
Mm-hmm.
And Zoraia wants to chime in here. Yes. Oh, Zora. Hi, Zora.
Understand. Another analogy of this would be when it comes to the birds and the flocks of birds go in a certain direction, understand they are communicating, but they're not communicating in a way a human would understand. It is telepathy between the animals. They are communicating with each other, and through telepathy, that's why they can follow the directions they need to go. It's the same thing with people who finally get the message that I've been trying to pound into their heads about telepathy, that they all have the ability of telepathy. Satan and your fish, they communicate together, and full is one because of telepathy. The birds fly and north and south, and in the wintertime they go south. Well, how do they stay in formation? It's because they're communicating with each other through telepathy. And that is how they communicate. And that's how animals communicate to a farm. Telepathy. Follow me. I know where I'm going. And then the baby follows her. It's all through telepathy. So that is an understanding that the humans need to get into their finite brains or heart minds. When you go into your heart mind and do all your everyday activities from the heart, you can never go wrong, ever, because you are going from the heart. And so, if all of your decisions, say you want to buy a house or something with your mate, communicate that to them through telepathy. There's no need to talk. Just do it. Because you've had the ability, it's just go and get excited. Wake it up.
Thank you, Zora. We got to work on that.
Indeed.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I have. Q, that was a question. Q. That was a question for you, Q, from Zora.
I did not catch the question. Pretty tough communications this way. Forgive me.
Yeah, exactly.
I was saying, do you agree with what I have just communicated?
Yes, it is exactly perfect for me. It is a lot more comfortable living that way, I would add, too. It's very normal for us to live that way. especially as an aquatic creature. It's very normal to be excited about something and communicate that through our natural telepathy heart center, if you will. Thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you, Zara. All right. Our next question is coming from 704, ending in 8130. So the question is, are shadow bodies the same as a soul overlay? And will the Arcturian box still be activated despite the passing of Max Steel? Q.
Someone very savvy.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive me, but what is a shadow being?
Well, that's the question that she is asking.
I am familiar with a fractal of your light body not being completely annealed to physicality. And so that's what I'll assume that definition is. There are several Arcturian boxes here that can heal and help frequency recalibration here. So they are available. I have to be a little careful because some of the individuals that have them don't want to be identified because of what did happen to Max. And just know great care is being taken place. And there's more. Our team is very vast. And of course, they made an example out of Max just to let's say, give us an attaboy. So I will call it flattery. And Max would too. And he's still very strong. Thank you.
Beautiful. So for those that don't understand what you just meant in regards, or what we were just talking about in regards to the Arcturian box, can you explain that further?
Yeah, I don't want to limit the value of that region of the multiverse, but several of individuals from the Galactic Federation, several of them come from that region as a dedication, not exclusively because you can go to many, but they really understood the ascension process. They understood this version of humans and the manipulation. So it's a very short version. And so they offered that technology, the portal technology that you're seeing with the Q Post are a portion of their gift here. In order for that technology to be here, they had to actually participate in your reality. So that's why you're not seeing the Galactic Federation flying down and manipulating you, because they'd be no better than the aliens, right? You have to actually be here and participate. And so one of the gifts they gave themselves and or us was the Arcturian box, which has many, many uses. I hope that helps.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Dr. Tom, did you have a comment on that?
So in many uses, what is it, a technology?
Yeah. And so what you're able to do with, so again, I'm going to be real careful because there's a way to undermine the technology, but essentially you can take portal technology and you can use the electromagnetic etheric field of your planet and combine the energy. So what big words for, I can take a portion of source, marry it with the geography you're at, in this case, Earth, and use the geography to combine frequency and or source, Merkaba, light from source. So I'm basically giving you more of your light in you, and I can also direct it. So if you did have an ailment, it could focus on the ailment in a root cause analysis way, not the symptom. So it's difficult to explain the English language, but basically the Turing box recalibrates and reconfigures your light body to physicality. And you can also do it in a geographic area. So I could heal a portion of the planet, as an example. I could clean up nuclear waste. It's very normal technology, something that's been hidden from the Western world for sure. I hope that helps.
Right. So Q, would that be a unified scalar type frequency?
Very close. Scalar has limitations though. And scalar can also be undermined. So I've been attacked for years by the bad guys by Scalar's example, and that's why I want everyone to take great care when they're using Scalar. Seeing some great benefits from Scalar, but it is a portion of the technology I'm explaining. That's correct.
Is it a torus field?
There is the option for torus field directional calibration configuration, yes, but it's still a portion of what it can do.
What is beyond that, Q?
You.
Mm.
And that's the whole point, is to get you some more light in you,
right,
to actually weaken. And that's why when we do the healings on the one-on-ones and so forth, or even in person, people just make these huge jumps. And it's really just because you get more of your light in you, and the light will recalibrate and reconfigure you naturally. So hope that helps.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that. Another question is, should we continue to remove the barcodes from our bodies, in particular the spirit barcode? And can we do this also for those who receive the jabs, for example?
Yeah, so whole life, lifetime clearing is my suggestion, and barcode removal. So if this is new information for you, most of us on the planet genetically have a barcode to mainly to track us. So it's a genetic mapping system, so you can see who's who in the zoo and put epigenetic recording system on it. So once you get the barcode off you, you're really nimble. And the whole life epigenetic recording system, once that's erased from you, you're really good to go, in my opinion. It's just up to you now how you want to sustain your health with your light body. Thank you.
Okay. Do most people know about that, you think, Q, or no? How much?
There's a message in the bottle. There's a message in the bottle now.
Right.
Yeah, I know it's tough information. Again, everyone, I'm the first to want to be wrong about this. And they worked real hard for me not to be here right now, really hard. And I'll speak for Zorea, and Zora. These are the most incredible beings in the universe. And Zorea, I'll quote Zorea in what she said: "If I had my choice, I wouldn't have come here." Now, why would that be? The most powerful being, gentle being, saying, "I might have made a different decision if I knew it was going to be like this." I don't want anyone to get down about this. We are super powerful. And here's the duping that's happened here. They got us to use our mind every single moment of every single day. And it's absolutely backwards. I hope that helps.
Yeah.
Indeed. Understand also, beloved, when it comes to how some people have the ability of telepathy presently, and some do not. The reason is this: because the DNA, as your DNA is coming together, there is a certain strand of DNA which denotes telepathy. And some people have got it already, and some people will get it. But presently, when the Anunnaki came and invested your DNA and your genes and to remanipulate the body and reconstitute the human body, they separated all those very needed strands
That are really
that are floating around in your body. And when they finally come together, creating the 12-strand DNA, you will have all of your faculties, all of your ability of telepathy and all this. And this is something that your government is deathly afraid of, because they know that once you get your full capacity, abilities and capacity back, they're in trouble, because you will know more than them. You will know how to in the poverty on the planet, you will be in the know of knowing. And once you have that, then there's no stopping you. So that's why some people have the ability already to communicate telepathically, and some do not.
So are you saying then that the people who have fully awakened already, as you say, already have their 12-strand DNA completely connected?
Yes.
Okay, my next question then is that I know that for our species, that seems to be like the goal is to be able to get our 12-strand DNA all linked up together and completely activated. So are there more than 12-strand DNAs elsewhere, or are they all going to fuse together at some point?
Yes, thank you so much. Beautifully said, by the way. And I just cherish getting the validation. So let's just hold it to this version of humans and what the geneticists were going for. First of all, to have multiple strands of DNA only makes you more powerful, more intelligent, all your capabilities. Absolutely. And a couple reasons for that is they've made it so it's a filter, hindrance, and a positive thing, very positive. And so you can go both ways. So if you grow all your, for lack of a better definition, if you grow all of your DNA and get it as one solid silo, you're going to have massive amount of abilities. But you're still going to have the restrictions of being a human. There's nothing wrong with that. This is not a negative thing or a positive thing. It is what a normal mammalin will have all its capabilities that way. But it's still restricted to being a mammalin. Okay? So it's not positive or negative. It's just the way this version of humans was designed, mammalin was designed. And obviously the combination of reptilian. Now, what if you don't have any restrictions of DNA? Mm-hmm. Now tell me what you got. You've got everything. And that's why a lot of my teachings that way. I'm not endorsing one or the other, except look at the difference. Just look at the difference. I want to be a light being, or do I want to be a human with all its capabilities? That's all I'm stating here. So yes, many mammalins in the multiverse have a silo and or a seeding of your light. A soul is what we call it here, and an annealment of the Merkaba coming into physicality. And so how much of that of your Merkaba are you going to be able to utilize is all I'm really saying here. Thank you. Very, very great information.
So when we look at the multiverse, is there a preference or is it just a choice? Because I want to be able to experience being a human versus being, the light or the sound that I was in wherever else on a different density.
Absolutely. Yeah. Keep some good breaths going there, Jane. I know you got some attention on you there. So the fear, doubt doesn't exist when you're not in a being. There's nothing but peace, energy, absolute peace. There's nothing that will ever stop you from doing anything. You're flawless. There's absolutely no way I could answer that question because you're absolutely neutral and can do whatever you want. I hope that helps.
Beautiful. Thank you. Dr. Tom?
No, that was perfect. I guess to add to that is my thinking, a question here. For myself or people who I'm working with, we're finding that, like you say, Q is, quit thinking, be in your heart mind. And then also, doing the daily, it seems like for me is waking up every day, in a form of meditation and being in the sun and earthing barefoot, exercising, those type of things. But it seems like the more I don't think and the more get into your heart mind, you don't have to work on those other things as much.
Yeah, it comes naturally. It just naturally flows when you stop working on it. It's hard to explain in English language, I think. I'll give you an example. There's many times when Zoraia goes to call me on the telephone, and I go to pick up the phone, and I was getting ready to call her, and the phone doesn't ring. That's happened over a dozen times, or same with all sorts of electronic communication. That's normal activity with Jane and Zoraia for me. And that's what's going to happen to everyone in synchronicity in their lives. So now apply that to day in and day out mundane activities. The people and resources are going to show up right on time. And that's my real job here, is to be a helper for that. And knowing full well the Q posts were a stepping stone for the information I'm giving here today. Hope that helps.
Great. And then Q, what is your, I think I had heard you say before on your ideas of meditation and different forms of meditation, hindering, helping, be careful of certain types or whatever. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, first and foremost, I'm just a huge fan of anybody working on themselves. So never forget that. It gives me great joy. And knowing that there's something else other than your identity and so forth. So I'm a huge fan of finding peace, however you are excited to do it. Yet my observation of this version of humans, it's very difficult to play in hyperspace and then not expect something to come in while you're out there. And that's one of the tricks, in my opinion, of this version of humans, was to give you a two swinging crystal in your head. And I'm not saying that people can't master it. Stuart Swerdlow's work is probably a better intrinsic description of what I just said. Yet most of the people I'm watching meditate are going out into the beyond and getting hijacked and channeling beings that are almost always aliens. And by the way, channeling people and information that can be very, very good. So it's tricky business. I ask if I'm always in peace, if I'm always in my spirit, if I'm always in my heart center, why would I need to go into hyperspace? Why would I need to meditate through my head if I'm always in a meditative state? Hope that helps.
Perfect. Yeah, very, very nice. That cleared that up. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dr. Tom. All right. Our next question is now coming from 980 ending in 4406. So one of the questions that came up was Maitreya, Lord Maitreya, one of the several beings that worked through Yeshua 2,000 years ago? Is he also on the planet? So two questions there.
Yes is the answer, and for a portion of time, yes. So you got to remember, we had the ability, the last, for lack of a better wording, our human version prior to the last ascension cycle was much lighter and more nimble. So, as an example, you could have, let's say, approximately 15 individual fractals from source in one physical body, collectively, and or that same being could have individuality. It's very tricky to explain. But if I wanted to go and experience what it's like to be a mammalin and a being with more light, that's really what we were able to do then. And the other thing that was very capable for all humans was once one light being, as myself, interacted with other light beings that didn't have as much percentage of light, we were able to grow the column of light, fractal, if you like, very quickly. And so many people don't realize that the disciples that were talked about back then, well, they were actually light beings that had all the abilities that I had. So I hope that helps.
Well, that's interesting. So if we go back again to the question about, and Maitreya, is Maitreya here? I guess is the question as well.
So you remove identity is my
Okay.
first suggestion. And say, is there a portion of that light being here now? And yes is the answer.
Okay, fine. Okay, so that answers the question. Thank you. All right. Another question is, here's a good one. Could you comment on the mentors that are coming to assist us in the changes coming ahead?
God, I hope we find one. I hope we find one soon. God, if we could just find one. There's got to be someone somewhere. If we could just get another book written somewhere, we're going to find this guy somewhere.
Well, thank you for the answer. Thank you, Q. All right. Another question is, all right,
Another part of that answer is understand that the Galactic Federation and the mentors that they have been training have not been dispatched as of yet. When they do, it will be just prior to the announcement of the arrival of the appearance of the Galactic Federation across all the airways, across all of your communication devices, all of this nature. And those who do not have the communication devices, and will hear the message coming through the clouds themselves.
I can mention, if I can ask, Zora,
Yes.
I know that you've mentioned this a number of times already.
Indeed.
So we already have Q, we already have you and other wonderful beings already that are
You already have two mentors.
Yeah, I mean, why do we? That's answer right there.
You have two, but there's going to be more.
Yeah, but if that's not going to happen anyways until people come up to a certain level of knowing, where their frequencies are here and are awakened. So we don't need. So when they come, we'll already be at that level, which is similar to where they're at, I guess is maybe what I'm trying to say. So
yeah, and so it's a very good observation. So I like to use the definition of transition period. This is a transition. This is a transition period, and so is everybody ready to receive their mentorship? I'm getting around. I'm getting around a bit, and it doesn't look like. So how do you get mentors here when they're not ready to receive themselves? And that's why the words are tricky in English language. The mentorships are us, all of us as light beings. And so as we grow, that mentorship is going to get more and more valuable and more sustaining. And anyway, I like the term for me to be a transition specialist because we're all getting our feet back underneath us. I hope that helps.
Indeed. Also, all the light workers that are the true light workers, they are also mentors.
Well, I think that's what.
Yes, I understood what it said. We just spoke, but that is correct. That we are all mentors, and but there are more mentors that are coming for the majority of the world that are not related.
Okay, next question. All right, here's another one. Did the Andromedans, and this is from 253 ending in 6438, did the Andromedans, Pleiadians, Arcturians, and other advanced beings start out in the third dimension or third density?
Boy, that one's really tough because the diversity that we had and the diversity that was removed from us might be a better way to arrange the question. Did we have a choice to be lower dimensional when we lived in those realities, those frequencies? Yes. So, did we sustain it? No, we grew out of it. We wanted something more. Hope that helps.
What you're saying is that they were.
Originally, I would say no, because he'll give you an example of Earth. So if we're going to start from the beginning, Earth was a light planet. And so in order to be on Earth, you had to be a very high frequency. So that was the case with those planets too. Where would you start time now? Because we have changed our planet many times here, and we've had many versions of humans here. So it's very difficult to answer that. So the beings that live there were different as well. So believe it or not, this was a very high frequency planet. And in order to be a very high frequency being, like the sun, you have to be high frequency. So I'll say no, except the other versions of mammals that were there and or other beings started out at a low frequency. So yes, forgive the unorganized answer.
Okay. So
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of this human. For a linear overview of humans here, let's just use the number. It's roughly 7. So we've killed each other off or changed ourselves or both, all the above, 7 major times here. Although there's been many variants in between each segment of the 7. So how could I say the same human, the first version of us is the same human as today? It's not. So I hope that helps.
Okay. Yeah, that helps. All right. Thank you, Keith, for that. Okay. All right. Dr. Tom, any questions regarding that?
No, but I have a question that's a little different.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So we have this shift over from many people working since the 50s, the Alliance, the Dragon families, the Galactics, and the people to get here to move over to this new restored republic quantum financial system. A lot of us are waiting to receive our blessing financially, sovereign, so now we can go and move to what we need to do, because this planet's been such a slave planet. And I know you can't talk about the rate and the date and the timing on all these things, but you did mention that the military slipped there, that the salaries were paid. I just want to know, are we getting close to receiving a blessing? Are the people, have they risen enough to where we're getting close to receiving that blessing?
Can you give an example of what a blessing is to you?
That would be people who had invested in the RV revaluation of currencies, bonds, and exchanging and using those monies to better themselves and using those for humanitarian projects.
Good. It's the first time I've ever had that question given to me. Just kidding. Just every day I get this question. I love it. All right. When am I going to get the thing so I can go do my thing? It's a really great question. And I don't mean to make light of it. Okay. Now that was funny. All right. Anyway, the fun thing here is I would get comfortable with our ability to take consciousness and sort it is here right now. So that's the Q post. You're able to take consciousness. And so I really encourage everybody to use their heart and find their purpose and passion immediately. Yes, the world is changing very quickly. And yes, there are people that are in service to make this change go very smoothly, while for a very long time, while there is several people doing their best to make sure it doesn't. So remember, there are many beings here, Dark, trying to keep up with us, and they're not doing a very good job. So I'll leave it at that. When is what you really want to know, right, Jane? You always nail me on dates, right? Yeah, she wants to. She knows better now. So look at through your heart. I encourage everyone in their heart to ask themselves in the mirror, when are we going to get the RV? And say, are we going to get the RV tomorrow? And what does your heart say? What if the RV is already here? But in your reality, you keep using green pieces of paper with pyramids. What if you went to the bank and asked them for $100,000 in cash? You're not going to be able to get it. So there's your clue. Come on, doctor. You must have at least that much in the bank. Come on. Come on, go pull it out. Go. I dare you. I want someone to pull me out $100,000 of cash without ordering it. Okay. Because these dingalings will go to their brother and say, hey, we don't have any cash. Send me over some. This guy really serious. He wants his 100K. So that's your clue. Not printing any more money. These guys have run out of cash. So I hope that helps.
Right. All right. Thank you, Q.
Thanks for the question, Dr. Tom. Thank you, Peter. All right. Another question. I was wondering at this time, maybe we could, if you will, Q, bless us with your command and do a general healing. We can all do this together. If you will begin that for us, and we will participate with you, if you will.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you.
And I encourage everybody to follow me at home, wherever you're listening, wherever you are. You don't have to participate either. If it doesn't feel right, then don't do it. Just know great care is given to you in the following words. I command Prime Creation to give us all of our life force energy now. I command Prime Creation to give us all of our life force energy now. I command Prime Creation to give us all of our life force energy now. 3, 2, 1, now. So it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Jane.
Thank you very much, too. Appreciate you, Gary. We all appreciate you so much. Now, at this time, I do.
Woo! That was a good one.
That was a good one. I have an individual that, oops, hold on a second. I have an individual who had asked for a one-to-one with you. However, since we're not doing that presently, I was thinking perhaps maybe we could, you could, I'm sure she's probably listening, that she could listen to you help her through this call. So hold on one second. Let me go ahead and get her here. Just a second. Okay. So here's the question. She says, on Labor Day weekend, she got up. So she was sleeping, got up, and she had 30 bites, and then until now, getting to be about 6 or 3, then it was 30 bites, and now she's getting 6 to 3 bites a day, from an insect. And I had to go and have 1 to 20 days of a break as well. They get red and inflamed, the spots on her body, itchy, raised, then flattened with white outline and red inside, some blister and some scab, and they have a spot. Mostly on my legs and everywhere, even on one butt and on the other of the buttocks, okay? Losing most of my hair as well. I have been told it's a bite. We saw a few small and medium cellar spiders. We have the landlord spray. I put plugins, flower spiders, pouches, done sprays, etc., and they still get me in sleep. And daytime and several locations in my home. Is this? Here's the question. So the big question is, wants to know if this is a spiritual attack on her.
Okay. Well, if everything's spirit, I guess everything is a spiritual attack. Okay. What geography is she in, Jane?
She is. Well, what I can't tell you. No, she didn't say. However.
Okay. It's okay. Yeah. One of the things you can do, first of all, I wanted to know more about the type of being that's fighting her. But if you don't have that, most cases, it looks like you got a hive type of being. It feels like that to me. And you can talk to them. So they will listen to you. And you can practice with flies. Flies are really good to practice on when they're bugging you. God, I'm funny. When the flies are on you. I just love being a 4-year-old. I just encourage everybody.
Yes, you are.
I just want everyone to be 4 again. This is fun stuff. I'm telling you, it's fun stuff. Okay, so the flies, they're fun to work with. Notice that most bees, before they sting you, they give you a warning. They usually bounce. At least on the West Coast, most of the bumblebees, most of the honeybees, what they'll do is they'll bounce right off your nose or right underneath your eye and go, dude, you're too close to my stuff. Almost all bees have that kind of intelligence. Go, dude, you do it again, I'm telling you, I'm going to get you. Okay. So most bugs you can communicate with, and they want something in the house, obviously. So they want territory for some reason. But if you can talk to them or use harmonics, that deters them. So they don't care for, depending on the bug, but it sounds like we got, some kind of crawly critters, maybe sugar ants or something similar. But in any event, the red ants are tougher to work with. But second of which, there's several natural components on the earth they cannot handle, and one of those is borax, and it won't hurt you, at least in moderation. Borax is outstanding to deter bugs, and I'm sure there's other people on the call will have some other ideas. But yeah, that's my suggestion for starters, and hope that helps.
I'm good. Mm-hmm.
You have any other suggestions also?
I have one.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Zora. Of course you do.
If you do what is done, as to above her bed, have her to place a pyramid-shaped pyramid above her bed, suspended from the ceiling, and have that on top of the whole whole circumference of her bed. And that will eliminate the pest immediately. Because they cannot stand the energy of a pyramid. It is a positive energy, and most little critters are not positive. So,
yeah.
And they do not like positivity. So they will leave, and she will no longer have the bites. But she will see them leave, and when she sees them leaving, she'll be able to identify them.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that about the pyramids, because they do.
Mm-hmm. They most certainly do well.
Very good. Okay. The pyramids also, when you make them really high, and it's specific, the exact, measurements, it will also prevent
weather,
hurricanes, etc.
Yes, it will.
Okay. All right. Let me see here. Dr. Tom, do you have any other questions for EQ at this time?
I would probably, I do. Just came up with one. Q, do you know if there will be, I know they're being process now, but the damage due to the jab on it seems like year after year, the longer it gets, there's more people that it's affecting. Is there going to be more antidotes made to counteract that out there?
Yeah, so valuable question. There are several technologies that are coming through now. I think Simon Parks probably has a few of them. I haven't kept up with him for quite a while, but harmonic. I guess that would be the legacy. Oh shoot, I can't remember the name of it, but the legacy name in the 40s, huge machine, right? The Rife tech, yeah, Rife tech, yeah. That's going to get stepped up into a way to recalibrate and reconfigure you, and is already happening. And so I would pay attention to that. But certainly, if we can get people aware of their self-healing properties, is really the best tool. And I'll tell you why that is. When you volunteer, knowledge or no knowledge, when you volunteer to induce a chemical in you and it hurts you, it was your choice. At the end of it, so anybody who's decided to hurt themselves, as an example, that's really the root cause analysis for healing as well. So very difficult to heal someone who wanted to hurt themselves, as an example, but didn't consciously know that it was going to hurt them. And so once you can get the education process established, is really the huge step that's happening to all of us right now. Once everyone understands that they can self-heal, then the technologies that are already here will help resolve many of these ailments from these shots. As an example, Nanosoma would heal you if you had faith, great faith in yourself to be able to self-heal. So I hope that helps.
Exactly, yes. And all the technologies that we're working with, the energy enhancement, Tesla energy, basically because the body always wants to heal. And once you accept it, and once you get the energy up, the voltage up in the cell, healthy voltages of the cell is around, 72 millivolts. And we get those voltage up, the body can heal itself from anything.
Yeah, Tesla had many hints to us, namely walking for a good 5 miles a day. I think it was his number. It was some cardio mathematical equation he came up with, how many deep breaths you would take when you exercise. And so that does, of course, refill the glass of water that you are. I hope that helps.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
I have a question, Q. In regards to Tesla, since you brought his name up, and we're talking about scalar, we're talking about quantum fields, we're talking about Tesla, we're talking about, what we know of in terms of different sorts of frequencies that's out there. What is the highest frequency right now that we could take advantage of, and outside of our own self-healing?
You broke up for me. Can you repeat?
Oh, yes. Sorry. I said, I asked if, with all of the technologies out there, that talk about, whether it's meditation or whether it's scalar or it's Tesla. I don't even know the difference between the Tesla energy and the difference between those two, if one is higher than the other, and or anything else that's beyond that. I guess the whole question is really, what is the difference? I mean, we're talking about energy. So is the Tesla frequency the same as scalar wave technology? That's one question.
No.
Okay.
You're going to have a hard time getting me to talk about any technology outside yourself. And I'll tell you why. Because if it's outside yourself, it's outside yourself. Because I know full well that if you don't start with you, you're not going to heal anyway. I'm waiting for the magic pill to heal. I'm telling you, if you don't have your inner fortitude and knowledge that I can heal, you're not going to heal anyway. I hope that helps. We can break this down however you want. Notice when you cut your finger, you put a Band-Aid on it. 2 days later, there's no cut there. So everybody that sustains health issues in my book is because they have one thing in common, and that is doubt. And I got a doctor on the line. Maybe you'll back me up here. I hope that helps.
Yes, that's true. I would always teach my patients, if you cut your finger, are you going to die? Well, no, within a few minutes you have coagulation, and this form of innate intelligence will do that. And I think, Jane, your question was beyond our heart and getting in our own self. Is there any other technologies out there besides the Tesla and the Scalar and the Rife and the Arcturian box? Is there anything else out there that for guidance? I think that's what your question was.
Yeah, and there's just so many. I don't know where to begin. Would be my answer. Okay. There's just endless. There's endless.
Yes.
I have a couple bottles of mushroom tinctures in my house currently. They're beautiful for kidneys and liver, and so we could talk about this all day. Would be my opinion.
Right. Okay. I get it. Okay. Thank you for that, Q. Okay. Well, it's 2:30 Pacific time already. And, let me see. I did have some questions. Yes, I have a question or two. And that has to do with, and I know this is going back into history. Earlier, we talked a little bit about, those different versions of humans. But let's talk a little bit about the different cultures that came here prior to humans, but they were humans as well. So we had the Titans. We also had the Egyptians, and probably even more so. I mean, beyond that, was there anything else? And can you talk a little bit about that? Those cultures or those beings that were here prior to us coming here, this version, or I don't even know when we started coming here on this particular planet as the humans that we are, being the seventh version of humans.
Yeah. Well, these cavemen were really good at making pyramids, weren't they? I don't know how they did that, huh?
Yeah.
The never was a caveman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. You're right. We're not talking about the who's that guy that
Darwin. Darwin.
Yeah, Darwin. We're not talking about Darwin right now.
It's a fun story.
Before Q continues.
Yes.
What occurred was that they found a jawbone, and from that jawbone, they created this Neanderthal creature, and then they said that was primitive man.
Right.
It never was a primitive man. Even when you would consider a primitive man, spoke with telepathy. Who is the one that is what you call primitive?
Thank you, Zora.
This world is primitive.
We understand, right?
Because they do not have that inbred ability, or do not know they have the inbred ability.
Because it was taken away.
Because it was taken away.
Correct.
But in the past.
So
all those beings that were before the other cultures.
Before the veil came.
Before the veil came.
Before the veil came, who was here, Zora? Q.
Okay, great question. Yeah, I didn't catch most of that, but I'll assume a couple tricksters certainly helped Darwin's story there by making a Cro-Magnon man, et cetera, et cetera. But I'll assume that's what he talked about. I couldn't hear, but the question is pretty tough, and I'll tell you why. Because because I look at it a little differently. and see the unlimited volumes of races that would come here. And so I don't feel like answering a specific lineage version of humans is appropriate here when we look at this, because the vastness is massive. It's just massive. It's very difficult to answer this question because, and Zora can chime in whenever, but I see Earth originally, it was a very long time ago, as a collaboration center, as a living library. And so at one time, it was very great care was taken when you came to this planet. You did not disturb it. And that's what living libraries, for lack of a better term, are like. For me, Mr. Penrose has the closest relationship to this version of humans in its intrinsic description of this type of human and the beings that have manipulated this version of humans. Pretty close. The names are a little off. The dates are a little off for me, but close enough. That's probably the Penrose papers are probably the closest ones. But certainly, I feel Zora would agree with me that we took great care of this planet. We would never disturb it. And then we had the luxury of many races being here to collaborate with. So you understood where they came from, where you came from, where you're going. Yet one thing is consistent. You never disturbed a planet. I hope that helps.
Perfect. Jane, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Q, I know these are timelines, and through my studies a little bit, around the 1200s, the Mongolians were in control more or less somewhat, and then underneath them you had the Pacers and the Phoenicians, and then underneath them you had the Rockefellers. My question is, and the alliances have taken those out, but my question is, has the Mongolians have they been disarmed and they are not controlling anymore?
Not in my opinion. Still pretty good pocket there. Notice that they still have symbolisms around dragons. That's your clue.
Yes, I'm aware of that. Yes, the symbols.
Yes, so they're really good. They're really good at putting up a front. So you'll be distracted for the puppeteers behind them. I hope that helps.
Yeah, and also they're pretending to be Trojan horses, where they move in like they're helping, but they're trying to do the Trojan horse act, through the castle.
A lot of that is going on currently, in my opinion. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Right.
Since we're talking about this topic, I would like to ask in regards to the deep state then. So we know from our point of view, we've got the Rothschilds, we've got the Rockefellers, we've got Soros, we've got all those deep state people. But who is above them that need to leave?
Well, I get real popular with this question. And again, it's a message in the bottle. You're in a war with aliens, okay? Mm-hmm. That's it. And they're doing their best to make sure you can't find them, see them, smell them, and or give them a name. You're in the middle of an alien war that is very vast, mm-hmm. And they're able to cut and paste time. And they're mm-hmm. doing it with our heads. Mm-hmm. I get a little outspoken, forgive all who listen. I'm in real time. I'm watching them cutting and pasting our time. I don't live in time. You all do. Forgive me for being arrogant in my words. I'm here to help. I'm the canary in the coal mine, everyone. We need to use our hearts to make our decisions, and then it will all go away. I hope that helps.
Q, so aliens would be / the dark forces.
Right. And so they're putting up puppets so you'll chase them. I assure you, they have no problem no problem abducting humans day in and day out and being organized about it.
Okay. So do you see that closure for them almost done as well?
As soon as we all go within, yes.
Well, then that means to me that even if Trump and the good guys come back and get rid of the guys that we can't see and hear about, and they're gone, the aliens will probably still be around until we decide that they need to go.
There's many variables to my statement. And
okay.
It's very, 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 very many variables. We're going through the ascension cycle. Our planet is going to a higher frequency. Our sun, our solar system, we're all going to a higher frequency, whether we like it or not. We're all getting the truth, whether we like it or not. So that's a major variable, I would say. Now, individually, we're accountable if we want to be an individuality to do our own work. So I hope that helps.
Real quick, Q. So what you're saying is, and I was thinking about this, just came up. If disclosure comes, EBS, I'm just throwing spaghetti on a wall here. EBS comes on and we awaken, telling them what's been going on. It's on the TV, on our phones. And then wouldn't that, seems to me, the people who aren't awake would do that. That would cause the rest of the planet to go within. They would stop and go, wow, we've been lied to. And then, it kind of brings the masses along with disclosure.
Okay, that is an outstanding question. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to establish the emergency God casting system, and we're going to spread the word on this thing. Someone's going to hear us. I know it. So I feel where you're going with this is if we could just turn on the channel to the right channel and put out the message, this thing would all go away. Is that a fair statement? Is that what you're shooting for?
Yeah, somewhat.
Like, so, all right. So what's great about that is the aliens created your modern communication systems, and they're really good at managing it. So the way they're managing it and the way we can manage them is actually the same weapon. So pretty difficult to find these guys, really difficult if they're cutting and paste time. So their little communications tools, iPhones, laptops, television is actually their worst enemy as well. And so that's why this thing is still rolling, because they're hard to find. They're very difficult to find. I hope that helps.
So the awakening would, if all this information comes out, because there's people that are just aren't awake, then that would get them into their heart minds.
This is a beautiful conversation. Thank you. So if you did it that way, let's just say we turned on to channel whatever and we gave a broadcast. You would look like potentially, this is what some of the quantum computers will show you, is how many people would bite on that. How many people, let's just use North America, how many people would think they got duped that bad? And so now that person who's putting that out, now broadcast that is now mind controlling people just as bad as the aliens. And that's why you don't see these militaries doing these coups, so to speak, because now it looks like they're taking over the world, et cetera, et cetera. So one of the things that the quantum computing systems do for us is measure where our consciousness is and what we'll actually believe, what we'll buy into on top of it all. So that's your answer. We're not ready because we can't believe the duping is that big. Hope that helps.
Absolutely. That was my thinking too, is this, the quantum computers are, it's a form of AI that measures like an analog system or whatever to see where we're at, right? So
yeah. So we have the ability right now to measure consciousness on the planet, and unfortunately, it's not where it needs to be to understand the dynamics of consciousness. People actually believe their home is there before they leave work. they don't realize that they created the home as they left work. Pretty big jump, isn't it?
Yes. Still working through that one.
Yeah. So Q, where are we in our consciousness presently, worldwide?
Yeah, and so we're still. It's not that it's consistent, but if we were going to put a linear number on it, it'd be about 65% plus or minus. So one day you're at 100%, and tomorrow you're at 30% because the neighbor got in a fight with you. So we look like a wave. And so we're going high, low. It looks like a groundswell on the ocean all over the planet. And so I'll just use the measurement. It's roughly 65%. Hasn't changed much. I've seen us as high as 70%. So it just kind of goes back and forth, and we grow all the time, though. And a lot of that has to do with what you all are calling the Schumann resonance. The volume of light that's coming into your planet is helping tremendously. So I hope that helps.
Yes, could you talk a little bit about the energies or the energies that are flowing in and streaming into the planet?
Yeah.
When you say it's coming from the cosmos, where is it coming from? I mean, are there specific regions of the cosmos that's coming here to help us energetically?
Yeah, great. And super easy to answer. So if you could look at what we are doing, it's every one of us. We basically are getting surrounded by ourselves. Humongous volume of light is coming in on your ascension cycle, surrounding you, squeezing in. You could use 1,000 different words, and filling you with more, or you're attaching more to light. So you're actually bringing the light to you. You're not going anywhere, and that's why I'm disappointed with. Just for examining, not to judge, but when we call it you've ascended, that's an incomplete statement for you. You're not sending your ass anywhere. Okay, we're collectively recalibrating, reconfiguring more light to us, thus resetting our geographies, our locations, whatever you want. So basically, we look like we're surrounded by us, a big, humongous, everlasting light. That's what's happening. If that helps.
Thank you. That was beautiful, Q. Thank you. All right, we're getting close to the end of the hour, or the end of our 2 hours with you, Q. I mean, it's been really fabulous with you also being here as our co-host, Dr. Tom. We appreciate that, and Zora, of course, and Zorea. So as we begin to end our call, I'm sure, Q, that you probably have a message that you would like to be able to share with all of us. And also, again, I know that in our hearts, we really are trying to do the best we can with what we feel we know or understand to move forward on this, recalibration of our frequencies. So what would be your message for us today?
Thank you, Jane. And thank you for everyone who will listen to us today and the faith that you have in yourself. I appreciate that so much. And my messaging is, look how well we're doing. Notice we're all still alive. We're all still alive. And look how incredible we are. And look where we've come in just the last 20 years. Look at where we're at compared to 20 years ago. No doubt this is an amazing competition for our light. Do not give up your light. Bring it in more and more. This is what you are. You're a light being. I command our spirits to recalibrate and balance now. 3, 2, 1, it is. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you so much, Q. Thank you for being here, Dr. Tom. Thank you again for being here. Zora, did you have any last comments or message? Of course. Okay, go ahead. Take it away, Zora. Here, I don't know. I want to make sure that people can hear you.
If anyone was to do what is termed as to go into their heart mind,
Both of you say.
which is what we both are telling you, if everyone was to go into their heart minds, you would have peace on earth. literally. Because when everyone is in one accord and in their hearts, that's when the galactics, the hollow earth beings, the inner earth beings can all come and join you. That's what they're waiting for.
So the
They're waiting for you, your consciousness, your heart mind, to become intertwined with one another. No more bickering, no more wars, nothing of that nature. Even presently, you have heard on your newscasts and things of this nature the talk of nuclear war. Understand that can never happen. We will not allow it to happen.
I don't think that you and the source are going to let that happen at all.
It will not happen.
It's not part of the plan anyway.
It is not part of the ascension of this planet. No. Only for two main reasons. One, the planet is slated for ascension. The entire planet. The second reason is because if it was to occur, then the fallout would find its way into our domain. That cannot be allowed, so therefore we have taken out that equation by nullifying all nuclear weapons on the planet.
I thought you did that a long time ago, Zora.
I understand this, but there are people out here that need to hear this because they're in fear right now.
Well, they know, and they've already been listening to the fake news.
Yes.
That Russia is going to possibly,
Yes, I understand it.
all of that.
But there are many people out there that are still in fear because they're hearing this on the media.
Correct.
So what I'm doing is giving them hope, knowing for them to know that we will not allow this to occur.
Yeah, I know that King Source would never ever. Otherwise,
No.
You may have to come back and look for in 2,000 years again, and I'm sure that you wouldn't want to do that, right?
Not to you.
Okay.
You didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I guess you wouldn't let that happen anyways, right, Q? The end of the planet.
We will not. All of us, we wouldn't do that. Why would we do that?
Because the bad guys want it to happen.
Yeah. Hey, the lack of being silly. This is an amazing time for all of us, and we got this. Yeah. And I'm going to stay upbeat here because there's just no doubt if the bad guys wanted you gone, you'd already be gone. Can't happen. Obviously, can't happen because how powerful we are, as Zora said. We are not going to allow this to happen. I hope that helps.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Q. We love you. Dr. Tom, thank you. We love you too. And Zora as well. And everybody have a really great, great day. Play like you're 3 or 4 years old. Go out and find your swings or wherever the playgrounds are, whether it's up the running or skiing up the mountains or hiking or whether or not you're in a pool. Have a marvelous, fun day today, everyone. Thank you. And thank you so much for your messages for all of us today, Q. We really do love and so grateful that you are here for all of us and with us, at this time. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, we'll call it a day. Thank you for being here. Bye now. Oh, by the way, Zora has her and his call tomorrow. Thank you. All right. Bye. Bye, everyone.